1.9 is the application of the proportions. The big thing we're going to go over today is using proportions to solve problems involving geometric figures and use proportions in similar figures to measure objects indirectly. Now you should know that similar means they're alike, but they're not exactly the same. They have the same shape, but they're not necessarily the same size. Corresponding sides of a shape, it's where you have the same position. Corresponding angles are the angles in the same position. Two figures are similar if and only if the lengths of the corresponding sides are proportional and all corresponding pairs of angles have equal measures. So I have this triangle here. I have triangle ABC and triangle DEF. I have it color-coded up here. So in our triangles, I'm saying that AB over DE, this side here with the red and the blue angles, is equal to BC over EF. It's not saying that they're the exact same size, it's saying they have the same ratio. And the same thing goes for the AC over DF. They're all proportional. Angle A, the measure of angle A is equal to the measure of angle D. The measure of angle B is equal to the measure of angle E. The measure of angle C is equal to the measure of angle F. Say that these two triangles are similar. The way to say that they're similar is you have triangle ABC in this little squiggle. That means similar. So triangle ABC is similar to triangle DEF. You have to make sure that things are matching. Notice that I had it color-coded. A matches up with what letter on the other triangle? D. So if A is in the first position, D has to be in the first position here. B matches with E, C matches with F. If I were to write triangle ABC is similar to triangle EFD, that is incorrect because A does not match up with E. What's another way I could write the triangle? Give me some combination of letters. I don't see an X, Y, or Z in this problem. CBA. CBA. Triangle CBA is similar to what matches with C? F. What matches with B? E. What matches with A? D. So I have two triangles here. I have triangles MNP and triangles STU. I'm telling you right off the bat that they're both similar. One of the key things to understand is don't just go by the way the picture looks. Don't think, well, this looks like it's double of the other one. They're not drawn to perfect scale. SU is X centimeters. ST is 4 centimeters. MN is 6 centimeters. MP is 14 centimeters. M corresponds to S. N corresponds to T. And P corresponds to U. What do you think we're trying to find in this problem? Trying to find X. So we need to set up some sort of proportion. All right, X, I can do X over 4 equals. Now, by me picking this right here, what does X correspond to on the other one? 14 over, what does 4 correspond to? 6. Cross products, cross multiply. What's 6 times x? 6x. Without a calculator, 4 times 14. What's 4 times 10? 40. What's 4 times 4? 16. Put it together. 56. What's my next step? Divide by 6. Divide by 6. X is equal to, does 6 go into 56 evenly? No. What do I know has to go into both numbers? 2. Why does 2 have to? Because they're both even. Half of 56, 28. Half of 6 is 3. So it's 28 thirds centimeters. Or if I want an approximation, 28 thirds is about, that's the symbol for about, 2 squiggly lines. 28 divided by 3, it is about 9.33. That's one way I could set this up. There's a bunch of different ways I can set up. As long as I set it up so it's proportional still. Give me another setup. All you're doing is flipping it, right? That's fine. It's still the same thing. What does x correspond to? X over 14 equals, if I did this triangle first, this one's the second one. So the other one has to be 4 over 6. What do you notice when you still do your cross products? Still getting the same 4 and x, or sorry, the 6 and x, and the 4 and 14. There's different ways to set it up. You just have to make sure you're going in the correct order. Down here, I could now go in and find these other 2 pieces. Actually, I can't. Because I don't know, I have to know one of them to find the other one. So why would I put a variable in if I can't solve them? It's impossible to find out what this one and this one is. I have pentagon ABCDE is similar to hexagon FGHJK. I want you to find x. X is right here. All right? I want you to set up the proportion to find x. Everyone has had time to write it down and try to set it up. Your eyes can be very deceiving. Because the way you look at it, I already know what pops in your head. You want to say it matches up with this side. It's not that side. The most important thing is to look here. This is FG, right? What matches with FG? AB, which is right here. So I can go x over 10. The other thing they tell me is this piece here, 3.5. So this is JH. JH matches with CD, which is right here. So over 14. X times 14 is 14x. What's 10 times 3.5? When you have multiple of 10, it just moves the decimal point over. So that 3.5 becomes 35. Now I have to divide by 14. Now for this one, I'm going to get the decimal. I'm going to use the calculator to do this one. Why? There's a decimal in the problem. These are the types of problems you're allowed to use the calculator for. The little math, you shouldn't need it. So I have 35 divided by 14. My answer is 2.5. And it's 2.5 inches. Make sure that you're labeling them. What she just said was, she put x over 3.5. So she put this side over this side. Now when you do the other side of proportion, what side matches with the x? The 10, and then it's 14. Regardless, when you cross multiply, you still get the same setup. There's different ways to set it up as long as you're matching them properly. The one thing to notice that if you have AB, that just means segment AB. When you just see AB, it means that's the length of AB. They're identical writings. When you just see angle A, that means angle A. If you see M angle A, that stands for the measure of angle A. That's notation you should already know. Find X. The most important thing, I don't even look at the pictures really. Only thing I take out of here is they tell me AB is 5 inches, BC is 2 inches, WX is 7 inches, and XY is X inches. Because pictures can be deceiving. Because now all I have to do, I have this shape and I have this shape. I can set up as just going 5 over 2 equals. So AB matches with WX. WX is 7, which means the other one has to be X. Cross multiply, and I get 5x equals 14. Divide by 5, x is 14/5, which is 2.8 inches. Hardest part of this problem is setting it up. Once you set it up, it's a normal proportion. Questions on similar shapes? You can leave it as 4/15, or I will let you put the decimals 2.8 inches. Now, here's a different type. This is called indirect variation. A flagpole casts a shadow that is 75 feet long. At the same time, a 6-foot-tall man casts a shadow that is 9 foot tall. Write and solve a proportion to find out how tall the height of the flagpole is. You see these types of problems all the time, foresights, PSSA, those types of questions. And a lot of the times you make it more difficult than it needs to be. Some people need a picture. So some people, they will sit here and draw the flagpole. Draw the flagpole. That person's going to be a little bit too tall. I'll give you a Stewie head. All right. What this says is that the person is 6 foot tall. Now they have a shadow. And the shadow is 9 feet long. The flagpole has a shadow. I'm not going to sit here and clone it and everything. Has a shadow that is 75 feet long. Now, if I ask you to go outside and find out how tall a tree is, it's hard to find out that measurement because you have to go and climb the tree. Same thing with a flagpole. But at the same time of the day, if you take your shadow and you know how tall you are and then measure that item's shadow, you can find out exactly how tall it is. So give me a setup if I want to find out how tall it needs to be. Okay, x over 75. So x is the actual height, and the bottom one is the shadow. So this is the flagpole. What about the person then? 6 over 9. I cross multiply. 9x equals, all right, 75 times 6. 450. Divide by 9. Let's see. I know that 9 goes into 45 5 times, left with a 0. The flagpole is 50 feet tall. Now, I don't need the entire picture, but for some people, that picture helps you visualize and understand what's going on. Take the actual height of the one object over its shadow, then equals, and then actual height over the shadow. A forest ranger who is 150 centimeters tall casts a shadow of 50 centimeters long. At the same time, a tree casts a shadow of 195 centimeters long. Write and solve to find the height of the tree. This is centimeters, not feet. All right, to set this up, give me one setup. Give me the left-hand side. Okay. X over 195. X is the actual, 195 is the shadow. What are we talking about here? The tree. Equals, now let's talk about the person. 150 over 45. Now, don't think that the shadow has to be longer than how tall the person is. It all depends on what time of day it is. Cross multiply, and I get 45x equals 29,250. Divide by 45. What is it? 650 centimeters. Now, first thing people start to say is that 150. Doesn't sound like a lot. Anyone know how many centimeters are in an inch? 2.54 centimeters per inch. So what I'm going to do is take the 150 divided by 2.54. That means the person's about 59 inches tall. Well, how many inches are in a foot? So divide by 12. So they're about 5 foot tall. It's a shorter person. But still, how tall is the tree then? So I'll take 650 divided by 2.54. So it's 255.9 inches, which divide by 12 to find out the feet. It's about 21 feet tall. And now that gives you a better understanding. It's understanding how to change centimeters to feet. So now you understand the actual height, because a lot of us do not comprehend the height of 150 centimeters. But now knowing that 150 centimeters is about 5 foot tall, we know. A woman's 5.5 feet tall. She casts a shadow that's 3.5 feet long. At the same time, a building casts a shadow that's 28 feet long. How tall is the building? To set this one up, give me a setup. Okay, x over 28. X corresponds to 5.5 over 3.5. When I cross multiply, I get 3.5x equals 154. My next step is to divide by 3.5. Divided by 3.5. X is 44 feet. If you didn't know, this shortcut version for writing feet is just a slash mark. Inches is 2 slashes. The radius of a circle Or that didn't make sense. I have a circle with a radius of 8 inches is multiplied by 1.75 to get a circle with a radius of 14 inches. How is the ratio of the circumferences related to the ratio of the radii? Radii is plural of radius. How do I find the area of a circle? Okay, circumference is, nope, not pi r squared. 2 pi r. Area is pi r squared. So to find out the scale factor, what we're going to do is we're going to put in both of these. Two pi r is 8 in the first problem. It's 50. 2 pi is the little caret above the division in yellow. The other one is 14. I want you to figure out what happens here and here in comparison.